Hey, this is Brett Riblet. I'm going to be talking about some technological innovations between 1865 and 1920. These innovations affected the lives of factory workers, middle class Americans, urban residents, and Midwestern farmers from 1865 to 1920. The pictures you're about to see may not be exactly from that time period, but they represent uh, objects, places, and different things and technology from that time period that are also modern technology currently being used today. In 1878, Joseph Swan invented the first incandescent light bulb, also called the electric lamp. His light bulb burned out a little bit too quickly. Also in the same year, Charles Brush developed an arc lamp that could be powered by a generator. Thomas Edison founded the Edison Electric Light Company in the United States in New York City. He bought a number of patents related to the electric lighting and began to experiment kind of to develop a more practical, long-lasting light bulb like the ones we use today. In 1879, after many experiments, Thomas Edison invented an incandescent light bulb that could be used for about 40 hours without burning out. Now, that's not really a lot, but by 1880, his bulbs could be used for more than 1,200 hours. In 1879, electric light bulbs, brush arc lamps, were first used for public street lighting in Cleveland, Ohio. California Electric Company in San Francisco was the first electric company to sell electricity to customers such as you and I and business owners. The company used two small brush generators to power 21 brush arc light lamps. In 1881, the electric streetcar was invented by E.W.V. Siemens. Now, you'll see in some of my pictures, light rail was very similar. We don't currently have streetcars here. We have light rail, so that's representing the streetcars. We used to have streetcars. In 1882, Thomas Edison opened the Pearl Street Power Station in New York City. The Pearl Street Station was the world's first central electric power plant, and it powered over 5,000 lights. The Pearl Street Station was a direct current system. That's similar to what's used in our automobile systems with running off battery and alternators in our cars. The power that we use today is called alternating current, which is called AC. Direct current was called DC. In 1911, electric air conditioning was thankfully invented by W. Carrier. Thank God for W. Carrier because it keeps our churches warm and cold and comfortable all year round. In 1908, the electric vacuum cleaner was invented by J. Spangler. In the same year, electric washing machine by A. Fisher. Electricity, AC current, was first used throughout the country with the creation of Federal Power Commission in 1920. Steam locomotives provided transportation for both goods and people all over the nation, connecting point A with point B from small town and village to big city to major urban developments. Subway systems in major cities like New York were used for transportation of workers and residents throughout the city, making it possible to have railroads going under the ground as well as above the ground, where before you just couldn't do that. You'd have to tear buildings down. Most power plants were steam engine operated and fired by coal. Steam engines are used for pumping water, transportation, and running factory equipment, later to be replaced by the diesel engine, an internal combustion engine. Inclined planes in mountain cities were used to carry goods, coal, and people up and down steep inclines from the top of the mountain to the deepest part of the valley. The escalator was invented by Jesse W. Reno in 1891. It was known as an incline elevator. Passengers rode on a wedge-shaped support attached to a conveyor belt at an incline of about 25 degrees. Horizontal steps were added to the escalator by George A. Wheeler and Charles D. Seeberger, who bought the patents from Wheeler in the late 1890s. The Otis Elevator Company bought the patents and first displayed the World Escalator at the Paris Expedition of 1900, when the Otis Company exhibited the moving stairway. The radio was invented by Nikola Tesla in 1895, with the first radio transmissions transatlantic taking place on December 12, 1901. The telephone, invented in 1876 by Alexander Graham Bell, transmitted speech over electric wires. Later, in 1867, Thomas Edward Clarence Scott, brothers from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, were successful of marketing something that we all use today, toilet paper. They actually started the Scott Paper Company that year, 1867. Thank you for that invention. Keeps our hands clean. Typewriter, invented in 1867 by the American printer and editor Christopher Latham Scholes. It was patented on June 23rd, 1868, with the first complete manuscript book being typed up by Mark Twain. This invention was a revolution in communication. A lot of inventions were invented in the first half and the end of the last couple centuries. Inventors harnessed new kinds of power for both old and new kinds of transportation. Electric motors, internal combustion engines powered boats, trolleys, trains, automobiles, and airplanes. Most railroads at the time ran on steam, but in the 1920s, they began to use electrified tracks and also worked towards diesel locomotives, which we still see today, which is diesel electric. So that technology moved forward, and you'll see those in the pictures. On the ocean, ships became more efficient as oil replaced coal for fuel, and also it made pleasure crafts and fishing commercial boats closer inland more affordable and more efficient when they invented the internal combustion engine. Early versions of automobiles were fueled by steam and electricity, but when they switched over to internal combustion engines using kerosene or gasoline, they were hand cranked. It wasn't until 1919, when the self-starting engine made automobile easier to be used, that more people got them. In the 1920s, all-weather travel became possible when closed cars became the norm, and features as heaters were added. The internal combustion engine not only propelled people down the road, it sent them skyward, because in 1903, Orville Wright took the first flight for 12 seconds. 5 years later, with a new and improved plane, he and his brother Wilbur flew over an hour. In the next 50 years, advances in nautical design and piston engines made it possible for pilots to fly higher, faster, and farther, as we can see today. Rudolf Diesel invented the diesel engine and patented it in February 28th, 1892. In contrast to other steam engines of the era, which wasted about 90% of their fuel, Diesel calculated that his engine could be up to 75% efficient. As we can see today, they're actually more efficient than that. By 1912, there were more than 70,000 diesel engines working around the world, working in factories and generators. Eventually, diesel's engines would revolutionize the railroad industry. After World War II, trucks and buses also started using diesel-type engines that enabled them to carry heavy loads more economically. Midwestern farmers, steam tractors used for farming to pull plows. Deere didn't change the basic design significantly until 1875, when he introduced the Gilpin sulky plow, the company's first riding plow. There were other riding plows in the market, but Deere's two-wheeled sulky soon became one of the most popular. In mid-1800s, Deere entered another market, introducing the company's first three-wheeled plow. So basically, John Deere helped revolutionize the plows used in the Midwest. Steam plowing was also difficult. To keep the steam in the boiler, it would only run on level ground. 2 operators were needed. A farmer using a gang plow with 5 14-inch bottoms could plow 1 3/4 acres in an hour, which was a lot better than by hand. Barbed wire was invented in 1874 to help with building of fences, since wood was scarce in the Midwest. Again, the vacuum cleaner in 1990. This helped the middle class because they were the ones that could afford it. It made it possible to clean the floor. It was patented in October 3rd, 1899. And the motorcycle, the earliest motorcycle, was coal-powered, 2-cylinder, steam-driven engine developed in 1867 by American inventor Sylvester Howard Roper. And again, all these inventions were used to really just help develop a nation that we see today. Could go on and on for hours, but I just wanted to touch base. I hope you enjoyed the pictures and a little bit of the information that I shared with you. And thank you for viewing this video. God bless you and have a great day. Thanks. Bye.